There is a moment in every man's life when he looks around at the wreckage of his best intentions and realizes that the world has been lying to him since the day he was born. Nobody is coming to save you. Not your friends, not your government, not society, and certainly not the illusions you have been clinging to for comfort. The brutal truth you have been avoiding is that your father likely did not prepare you for the reality of this world. This isn't because he didn't love you, but because he was likely fighting his own silent wars, drowning in his own unvoiced fears, and carrying wounds he never let you see. So you grew up blind to the game, a willing participant in a grand deception, believing that if you were just good enough, just nice enough, just compliant enough, the world would reward you. But nobody told you that the world does not respect softness, it respects force. It does not respect dreams, it respects discipline. And it certainly does not respect innocence, it respects power. You were not warned that kindness without the capacity for dangerous strength simply turns you into prey, a resource to be consumed by those who understand the rules better than you do. The real education, the one whispered in the backrooms of power and the streets where survival is the only metric, reveals a stark reality that most men are too afraid to face. People will remember what you give them, but they will forget you the exact moment they are done using you. Life is not fair, it is not balanced, and it is not moral, it is strategic. It is a relentless zero-sum game played by rules designed to exploit the weak and elevate the ruthless. We are not here to talk about healing your wounds today, we are here to cauterize them. We are here to talk about the process of transforming from the placid, unsuspecting lamb into the strategic, calculating wolf, because you have been groomed to be a servant. From childhood you were taught to be useful, to be reliable, to be the good son. This conditioning, which masquerades as virtue, was actually engineering you into a man who carries everyone else's weight except his own. And here is the jagged pill you have to swallow. The moment you become essential to others, you stop being important to yourself. People do not admire the man who solves every problem, they expect him to. They use him, they drain him. And when he finally collapses under the weight of burdens that were never his to carry, they step over his body to find the next man who is willing to be exploited. This is the tragedy of the dependable man, the nice guy who becomes a silent servant disguised as a friend or a partner. The world will never apologize for doing this to you because usefulness is not respect. Usefulness is utility. It is a commodity, and like any commodity, you are replaced the moment someone cheaper, faster, or more convenient appears. You believe that being available, answering every call, fixing every mistake, and showing up for every crisis would earn you loyalty. But power does not come from ubiquitous service. Power comes from being the man who is not easily accessed. Look at your life right now and observe the economic realities of your relationships. Notice how the people you chase never seem to chase you. Notice how the ones you prioritize give you their leftovers. Notice how those you rescue never return the favor. This is because you have trained them to believe your time is cheap. Humans do not respect abundance, they respect scarcity. Every time you rushed to help, you taught them that they don't need to give you anything in return. Every time you said, "Don't worry about it," you taught them that your effort has no price tag. Every time you forgave disrespect, you taught them your boundaries are negotiable. And now, when you try to assert yourself, they look at you with confusion because you are breaking a system that you helped build. You have to understand that people treat you exactly the way you have trained them to treat you. If you are the man everyone uses, you are the man no one considers. Power is found in being rare. When your presence is scarce, your value rises, but you cannot make this shift just by saying the words. Words mean nothing to people who have already defined you as a servant. You must transform through behavior, through a ruthless re-engineering of your social operating system. This starts with a refusal to solve problems you didn't create. If someone makes a mistake, let them fix it. Responsibility teaches growth, but more importantly, it protects your energy. You have to start saying no without offering an explanation. A weak man apologizes for protecting his time. A strong man knows his time doesn't need justification. You must become unpredictable in your availability. When people know you will always pick up the phone, they stop valuing the call. When they don't know when or if you will respond, they adjust their tone. They increase their respect. You have to learn to reward reciprocity and starve dependency. If someone only appears when they need something, you are not in a relationship. You are in a transaction. Recognize it, treat it as such, and tax it accordingly. When you stop being endlessly useful, something interesting happens. The parasites disappear. The people who only valued your service fade away, but the ones who value you remain. This is a purification process. It is a ruthless culling of the dead weight in your life. It will feel uncomfortable because you are withdrawing from the drug of being the helper, but that version of you was designed for survival, not dominance. Your goal is not to be needed by everyone. Your goal is to be respected by the right ones and untouchable to the wrong ones, but scarcity is only the first step. The deeper issue for most men is that they are controlled by their own volatile emotions. They explode when challenged, they panic under pressure, they chase when rejected. This is why so many men lose. They are not defeated by external forces, they are defeated by their inability to remain cold. The world is unkind to emotional men. Emotional men negotiate badly. They make concessions based on sentiment rather than strategy. They stay in weak relationships because they fear loneliness. They hold back their potential because they crave approval. Power belongs to the man who can remain calm while everyone else is bleeding. Coldness is not cruelty, coldness is clarity. It is the ability to see things as they are, not as you wish them to be. It is the discipline to make decisions based on strategy, not sympathy. A cold man does not react, he evaluates. When someone tries to provoke you, guilt-trip you, or corner you, you do not lash out and you do not explain yourself. You watch, you study their intentions, and you choose the action that benefits you long-term. Your detachment is your shield. There are moments when kindness is a trap. People will exploit the softness you show them. They will weaponize your loyalty. They will use your fear of hurting others to push you into choices that destroy you. This is where you must apply necessary cruelty. This is the ability to prioritize your well-being and your future even when it disappoints or shocks others. It is not the desire to hurt people. It is the absolute refusal to let people hurt you. Sometimes you must walk away without closure. Sometimes you must say no without softening your tone. A man without boundaries is a playground for those who enjoy creating chaos. When you stop operating from emotion, you stop chasing, you stop justifying, you stop expecting fairness from unfair people. Your decisions become sharper and your presence becomes heavier. People stop playing with you because they can no longer read you. Your silence makes them nervous. Your indifference makes them careful. This is what the world respects, not the man who is nice, but the man who is not easily moved. And this brings us to the silence. Silence is one of the most powerful weapons a man can possess, yet you were raised to believe that communication solves everything. In the real world, the more you talk, the more you expose yourself. The more you explain, the more people doubt you. A man who talks too much reveals his fears, his insecurities, and his plans. He becomes predictable, and nothing is easier to manipulate than a predictable man. True authority belongs to the one who can sit in absolute silence and remain unmoved. When you reduce your words, the world becomes uneasy around you. They can't figure you out, so they start guessing, overthinking, and reshaping their behavior to please you. Your silence becomes pressure. Most men talk to release tension or to prove themselves, but every unnecessary word drains your power. A strong man speaks to direct reality, not to soothe his own anxiety. His words are measured, intentional, and rare. Scarcity creates value in speech just as it does in presence. There is also a profound danger in announcing your plans. The moment you speak of an ambition, you awaken the envy and resistance of others. Men with fragile discipline reveal their dreams too early. Men with true power move quietly and let their results do the announcing. This is a masterclass in psychological warfare. Silence protects your direction. It shields your ambition. It blinds your enemies. When you stop talking about what you will do and simply do it, you become a man who cannot be calculated. In conflict, the one who speaks less always holds the advantage. Silence forces the other person to reveal themselves. They spill their intentions while you remain unreadable, and the unreadable man is always the dangerous one. But silence must be paired with presence. Without presence, silence is just invisibility. With presence, posture, eye contact, self-control, silence is dominance. But none of this matters if you cannot stand alone. Every man talks about wanting strength, but very few are willing to walk the path of solitude that creates it. Strength is not built in a crowd. It is born when you are forced to face yourself without distraction and without validation. Most men are addicted to approval. They move only when someone else nods. They shrink when someone disapproves. Their entire existence is a reflection of other people's opinions. Approval is a cage disguised as comfort. Every man who ever built something powerful did it without asking for permission. Because asking for permission makes you weak. It forces you to compromise your truth just to be accepted. The moment your self-worth depends on what others think, you become their servant. You dress for them, speak for them, and fail for them. A powerful man creates a life that reflects his vision, not the world's expectations. This requires the ability to be disliked. It requires the willingness to disappoint people. Freedom is not given to you. Freedom is taken the moment you stop caring about the opinions of people who do not live your life or carry your consequences. True independence begins when you stop looking outward for guidance and start looking inward for direction. Life becomes infinitely sharper when you no longer need applause. Suddenly, your decisions become strategic instead of emotional. You stop explaining your choices. You prioritize your mission over people's misunderstandings. When you can stand alone, you become unbreakable. Rejection cannot break you because you don't need their acceptance. Loneliness cannot weaken you because you are whole on your own. You become self-sustaining. And once a man reaches this point, he becomes someone the world must adapt to, never the other way around. This leads to the final, necessary step. Reinvention. There comes a moment when evolution is no longer optional. You reach a point where the old version of you, the soft, distracted, approval-seeking version, cannot carry you any further. You feel a quiet pressure, a hunger that refuses to die. Most men ignore this feeling. They drown it in entertainment and excuses, but you cannot afford to do that anymore. Reinvention begins when you stop negotiating with your own weakness. It happens when you stop protecting the habits that keep you small. A man's life changes the moment he decides to become unrecognizable to the man he used to be. But you have to understand that reinvention requires destruction. You must destroy the excuses you've repeated for years. You must destroy the illusion that you have infinite time. You must destroy the habit of choosing comfort over growth. You have to ask yourself what your life would look like if you lived every day as if someone were trying to take everything from you. What would your mind become if you treated discipline like survival? Most men avoid this because they are afraid of losing their current identity. They are afraid of leaving behind the people who enable their mediocrity. But you cannot rise while holding on to the life that forces you to kneel. Reinvention demands separation. You will lose people. Good. You will outgrow environments. Necessary. You will shed identities you once clung to. Required. Because the man you are becoming cannot fit inside the life you built while you were asleep. The outdated version of you must die for the new version to take the throne. This is the cycle of power, death, then rebirth, collapse, then reconstruction. When that new version emerges, everything changes. Your presence changes. Your standards change. The world reacts to you differently because you carry yourself differently. You no longer walk like a man trying to avoid conflict. You walk like a man prepared for it. You no longer speak like someone begging to be heard. You speak like someone who allows others to listen. You think like a man who commands his destiny rather than begging for one. Everything I have said to you is not meant to inspire you. It is meant to provoke you. It is meant to corner you into confronting the truth you have been avoiding. You know exactly what you must do. You know the man you are capable of being, and you know the terrible price of staying the same. The door is open, but you are the only one who can walk through it. Reinvent yourself into a man the world cannot ignore. Step into the reality you deserve.